We are living in a period in global history where we are seeing mass shake up on global migration. There is a significant revolution taking place in countries in the global north, and we are living through these conditions where people are transforming the way that people are able to enter their borders and also remain in their countries. And we need to take a look at how that is likely to impact on Jamaica as well as the wider Caribbean.
The Jam Fam family. Jam Fam, come hang with me. Yeah.
Hello, Wagwan. Big up yourself, whether you're there, yard or you're there abroad. Welcome back to another episode of Life with the Jam Fams. On this episode, we're going to be looking at the global immigration shakeup that is taking place and the impact that can have on Jamaicans as well as the wider Caribbean. So recently we've been hearing lots of talks about the different things that are happening in terms of global immigration, and the global north is putting in lots of measures, and Australia is joining in this grouping of immigration shakeup. Back in December 2024, we did a video where we talked about some of the revolution that is taking place in Western Europe. And those were the soft approach, where Western European countries were actually paying migrants to move back to their country with a one-off payment for them to go back to either their home country or to other parts of the world that they would choose to migrate to. And this was only the brush of the different things that we're seeing. It was only a start in the different things that are coming to light as to how countries are transforming their migration eligibility and requirements in order to minimize the amount of people coming into their borders and also reducing the amount of people who are remaining in their borders as they become permanent residents and citizens. So to take this matter going back to Western Europe, currently Western Europe is tightening their border patrols, and you have several countries that are ensuring that they're reducing the amount of people who've migrated to Europe who are able to enter into their borders. There are also other plans that are taking place as to how they can manage asylum seekers as well as other forms of migrants who are coming into the country. Now, here is a clip for you.
Germany has reinstated border checks. The police will now randomly check people at the country's northern and western borders. People coming in from France, Belgium, Luxembourg and Denmark. The Germans already had some border controls in place with Poland, the Czech Republic, Austria and Switzerland. Now there will be checks at every border and possibly even more scrutiny in the days to come. So border controls are making a comeback, but that will address just one issue. They may stop immigrants from moving between European countries, but it won't stop migrants from getting to Europe altogether. European countries want to address this too. They want to stop migrants before they reach European shores. And one country has been doing this successfully, Italy. Their Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has reduced immigration. Migrant arrivals are down by 60% compared to last year, 60%. This has caught the rest of Europe's attention. So yesterday, Meloni got her first prospective student, Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
I'm here to have discussions here at this coordination centre and with the Prime Minister about how we deal with unlawful migration. And here there's been some quite dramatic reductions, so I want to understand how that came about.
In that same video that we talked about in December 2024, we also highlighted a transformation that was happening in the UK, where the UK was looking at how to reduce the duration of time that they give to people who are coming in on work permits, and also the increase in some of the eligibility for them to be able to take along with them their dependents. Additionally, the UK has also decided that they were going to change some of the policies and procedures for people staying on work permit, becoming permanent resident and then citizen. Under the new policy, it could take up to 15 years for someone who is on a work permit seeking to become a permanent resident or a citizen in the UK. Gone are the days back in the early 2000s when all you needed was 5 years, and that's the transition that has taken place. We also know that the UK is no stranger to hardline approach and at aggressively protecting their interior. And to the point, they even went as far as to have mass expulsion of people who were from the Windrush generation because they hadn't matriculated their passport from the countries that they were at into British passports. Even to date, there are still processes going on to resolve that whole fiasco that happened with the Windrush generation. The UK also had a soft approach, although not heavily used. Here is a clip of a campaigner who is sharing a part of his manifesto as to how to reactivate this policy that was already in place so that they can be able to expel people who they believe no longer serves the British society.
You say you want to review the citizenship of those people given citizenship in the last 10 years or so. What would be the criteria for that?
Well, it's very precise. We want to review the citizenship of people who've been granted British citizenship since 1997, given that it now emerges from New Labour circles that they've used mass immigration deliberately as a political tool.
So anyone who is on benefits at the moment, or unemployed at the moment, and anyone who doesn't speak English, you would scrap their citizenship and deport them?
We would certainly look at their citizenship with a view to saying their presence in this country isn't helping this country, it's not fair on the taxpayers and the poor of this country, and therefore they should go.
Okay. You also say you'll have this voluntary repatriation scheme. How much would you offer people like me to leave the country if we wanted to?
There's a voluntary resettlement scheme in Britain at present. It's been there since 1971, but very little money is spent on it. We'd look to spend something towards 9 billion a year on it, which is what we at present waste in foreign aid. In fact, the best foreign aid you can give to a country, say like Malawi, is their doctors and their nurses back, rather than stealing them as cheap labour
per
over
person,
here.
what would I get?
Well, in all probability, we'd be targeting this aid at people who really aren't contributing to this society. And overall, on balance, despite the fact you're a journalist, I think you do. So we wouldn't be keen, particularly, to pay taxpayers' money to get rid of you.
Oh, you'd like me to stay?
We're looking at probably £50,000 a head, which, out of the 9 billion at present wasted on foreign aid, would mean that there'd be about 180,000 people paid to leave this country if they want to go each year. Imagine the benefit that
the
would
number
have
of
in terms of
50,000
relieving
a
the
year has
pressure
been
on
sort of
housing and the
banned.
NHS.
50,000 a year, is that a fair figure?
The number of 50,000
£50,000 per person per year. Sorry, yes, per person.
That's
about right.
Not per year, but just to go and not to come back.
Canada is also making sure that it is doing its bit to ensure that it is preserving its heritage and its legacy through immigration. And one of the things that it is doing is looking at reviewing its work permit points system in the same way that the UK has recently reviewed theirs. And what they're doing is increasing the points and the complexity of the eligibility that people need to meet. Equally, Canada is increasing the difficulty for someone to bring along their dependent and making it even more difficult for people migrating there on work permits to become permanent residents and citizens. Take a look at this clip.
In recent months, the Canadian government has unveiled new immigration regulations that are causing waves across the country. What once seemed like a land of opportunity is now becoming increasingly difficult to navigate for many immigrants. So, what are these changes, and how will they affect the lives of those who have built their future here? Canada has long been a beacon of hope for people seeking new opportunities, whether they are skilled workers, students, or refugees. But 2025 is bringing significant changes to Canada's immigration system that could force millions to reconsider their place in the country. Number 1. The new immigration rules explained. To address growing concerns about labor shortages and housing issues, the Canadian government has proposed a series of new immigration rules that will prioritize certain candidates over others. Among the most notable changes are increased points-based system. Under this new policy, the express entry system has been overhauled. Immigrants applying for permanent residency now face a more competitive points-based system with more emphasis on high-level education, work experience, and language proficiency. Reduction in family sponsorship opportunities. Family reunification, one of Canada's foundational immigration principles, is being restructured. The wait times to sponsor family members could increase, making it harder for immigrants to bring loved ones over to Canada. New pathways for temporary foreign workers. The government is now focusing on a more transient workforce, aiming to attract temporary foreign workers rather than permanent residents. This means many workers who have been in Canada for years on temporary permits might face uncertainty about their long-term future. For many immigrants, these changes are a huge blow. What was once a pathway to citizenship may now be a distant dream. The new system has left many feeling uncertain, and for some, it might even mean having to leave the country they've called home for years.
Equally, we have heard of the lengths that the USA is going to ensure that it is expelling people that doesn't serve the values and tendencies of their society. The measures that the US is taking is well publicized, and some people might be deluded into feeling that they probably are safe. However, listen to this interview from the border czar on what he feels about those people who can become collateral.
We got military on the border, not only helping us with departure flights on military planes, but they're helping to build infrastructure. They're putting up concertina wire. They're down there to create a secure border and lock that border down. And DOD's helped administrations before, but not at this level. So it's a force multiplier, and it's sending a strong signal to the world. Our border's closed. Our collateral arrests. Where do collateral arrests happen? Sanctuary cities. And this is important we understand that. Sanctuary cities lock us out of the jails. So instead of ICE being able to arrest the bad guy, the criminal alien, in the safety and security of a jail where the officer's safe, the alien's safe, and the public's safe, sanctuary cities release them back in the community, which endangers the community, putting the criminal alien back in the community. But when we find him, he's going to be with others, most likely. Many times they're with others. If they're in the country legally, they're coming too.
Australia has also entered the mix with this shake-up as well, and they are looking at how to tighten their borders as well as making sure that they're expelling those people who do not comply with their requirements within their country. And I'm just going to share this clip with you now.
We're talking deportations, crackdowns, and some spicy new laws that have human rights groups raising their eyebrows so high they might just take off. The government isn't playing around, and if you don't have your paperwork in order, you could find yourself on the next flight out. Now, before we dive in, let's set the scene. You're in Australia. You love the beaches. You've developed an unhealthy obsession with meat pies, and you think drop bears might actually be real. But there's one problem. You don't have a valid visa. Uh-oh. That makes you what's called an unlawful non-citizen, and that's not a club you want to be in. The Australian government has been tightening the screws on immigration laws, making it easier to detain and deport those without proper documentation. Even minor criminal offenses can now be grounds for deportation, sparking debates about fairness and human rights. So, whether you're a tourist, overstaying your welcome, or someone caught in visa limbo, the message is clear. Sort it out, or you might be packing your bags sooner than you think. Mandatory detention, no visa, no freedom. Australia has a pretty clear stance. If you're in the country without a valid visa, whether you arrived without one, overstayed, or had your visa cancelled, you're getting detained. No get-out-of-jail-free card here, as the government takes immigration law seriously and there's little room for exceptions. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so they detain people, but surely they let them go after a while, right? Nope. If you're caught without a visa, you have two options. Secure a new one, which is about as easy as finding a kangaroo in downtown Sydney, or face deportation. And deportation isn't just a possibility, it's the default outcome.
With all of these different factors and different actions from different parts of the world in play, one has to consider, well, what is happening within the Caribbean? And in Jamaica in particular, what is the view of those people who are in positions that can make a difference, and what's their opinion on all of this? Now, we are a very apolitical platform. We are not ascribed to any political movement of any sort. However, we are keen to understand what those people who are policymakers are thinking about this. And so this is what the Prime Minister in one of his town hall in Barbados recently spoke up about the issue, where he sees it in terms of Jamaica and the future. Take a look.
Here's what I would say to you. Listen, it is time that we have a net influx of people into Jamaica. It is time that our Jamaicans feel that they can flourish and grow in Jamaica. Our unemployment rate is at 3.2%. That's practically full employment. Practically. So labor is now a constraint on growth. And even with what is happening with the deportation of Jamaicans, in former times we would look at it as a major threat to the country. Now we have to look at it as maybe this is an opportunity for the country to reclaim some skills, because some of the people who are going to come back, they were working in hotels. They got exposed to giving service on an international platform. Some of them may have been working in IT. Some of them have been exposed to other skills and technologies that we should really try to reintegrate them into the society. There are also some demographic issues that we have to pay attention to. Jamaica is a fairly young population, but you know what? We're an aging population. And can you imagine that we're at the point where we're going to say that we need more labor? That is the reality for Jamaica. It's the same thing for Barbados. They've been thinking very seriously about how they can expand their population to keep the economy going. That's where Jamaica is right now, but the mindset of Jamaicans is still have to go overseas to make it. Very soon that will change when people realize that they can't go overseas again and they have to make it in Jamaica. What the government is trying to do is to create the economy so that you can make it in Jamaica. So, listen man, the next decade for Jamaica is when everybody's going to be begging us to come to their country, because we have the tech skills. They see our people as law-abiding, hard-working, efficient and productive, and they're going to want us to come, and they're going to remove all the visas. And at that time, we'll say, no, Jamaica, the place of choice, to live, work, raise families, do business, and retire in paradise. You come instead.
Immigration has been a significant part of our living for several decades now, and it's important that we come to a place where we understand some of the factors that lead us to migrating to different parts of the world. It is also important that we are looking at the fundamental ways in which some of these migration can be transformed, and how people can do so less out of desperation and more because of strategic moves that they want to make for their furtherance and their advancement. Tell us what you think about some of these transformations that's taken place. What's your take on it? And tell us, how do you see Jamaica faring at the end of all of these different forms of implementations of immigration lockdown in different countries, once this revolution has cemented in its position, and the way in which people are able to move between countries and within territories?
Hello Jam Fam Tribe. So today I'm going to be challenging my mom to a game of keep up, but there's a twist. We're using balloons. So you have to use like your hands or really anything as long as you keep it up in the air, and you cannot cheat.
So, does that mean I can use my foot,
If you want to,
my hands, my
but
head,
you
just
cannot
any
let
body
it
part?
drop the floor.
And
And it comes.
is there a prize, or is it just fun?
Just fun, I don't know what the prize is.
You haven't thought of any prize? Okay. So, we're just going to try and keep it up. And you're not going to try and let me drop for me. Are we starting at the same time and then see who dropped first? Is that it?
I think so.
Okay, so. Ready?
Feels like one space. There's just like
Are you going to start?
2, 1.
It's going too high! Shut it, jump!
It's not
Stop
on the floor.
cheating! Okay, that's one down and we see best of 3.
It's not on the floor. It went in the bush.
It still fall out of your control, so that's 1 down. Ready again. You know I didn't notice yours fell, right?
That means it doesn't count.
It
Okay,
counts,
let's
but
continue.
thanks for your
Okay,
honesty.
let's
That
continue.
shows integrity. So ready? Tell me, number 2,
Then I should
second
get
attempt.
points for integrity.
Second attempt. Ready? Start us off. Count down.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. Did it drop?
No. But we can't catch it, can we? We have to keep bouncing but not holding.
You have to bounce
so
it.
I had to quickly let go of it. So 1-1.
Does it count if it touches the book? If it bounces back to my hand?
So long as it touch anything other than our body, that's what you said. So that's
But
how
it
it's
doesn't
played.
count.
It have to count.
So then it can't touch the air then?
That the air not count. It surrounds us. Ready? Stop trying to overcomplicate it now. It just to cheat. Ready? Count again.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Exactly.
I just let it go on the wind. Took it away. Okay, so 2-1. 2 for me, 1 for you. So, best of 3. I have to be good for the next one. Ready?
3, 2, 1.
That's not fair. You're not even moving it.
I am.
The sun.
I'm keeping it away from the sun because it's messing me up.
That was a good save. Did that just touch the ground?
No, but it was going to. I had to bounce it back up.
Is that 2-2? So, this next one will make the difference. 2-2.
And yours is going to drift.
Hope not. I need to win this. So we can finally get a hold of the Jam Fam trophy.
You said that was up above.
It's not? The one time we have the chance.
That has a nice place in my room, collecting dust.
Let's go again.
3, 2, 2.5, 2, 3.
That can't count! That can't count. The wind took it away.
The wind took mine away over here too.
Okay.
So as you can tell, for the millionth time I won. The Jam Fam family. Where Irie living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. Jam Fam, the Jam Fam family. Where Irie living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. Jam Fam, come hang with me.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on this another episode of Life with the Jam Fam. We appreciate your continuous involvement and engagement with the information that we're sharing. Bye for now, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.